Delegate Arnold,
Here.
Delegate Asher,
No.
Delegate Posse,
I'm here. Thank you.
thank you. Delegate Ashikuchi,
Thank
you. Vice President Isonanka Nariarte, Delegate Canto,
Yay.
Delegate Louis,
Hey, mine.
Delegate Martin,
Government, mine.
Nangan, Delegate Mori, Delegate Nabayan,
Here.
Delegate Naich,
Present, thank you.
you. Delegate Pauses,
Here.
Delegate Rison,
Mami.
thank you. Delegate Simon,
Hey, mine.
Delegate Samo, Delegate Sigra,
Here.
Delegate Susaya,
Hey, mine.
Delegate Takasi, Floor Leader Yatilman, President Killian,
Here.
Mr. President, we have a total of 20 delegates that are present.
Thank you, Chief Clerk. Therefore, we have a quorum, so we can transact business. And for the record, since our floor leader, Yadongman, is not here, if no objection, I hereby designate Carl Chair Asher to be the acting floor leader for today. Adoption of journal, item 4. Chief Clerk.
Adoption of journal, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Yes, sorry. Acting floor leader, Asher.
Thank you, Mr. President. I understand that journal for 27D is just being prepared, but I understand that all the members have not have time to review it. So I move that we defer action on adoption of journal for 27th day, 28th day, 29th, and the 30th day.
It's been moved and seconded that we defer adoption of the journals of those previous meeting days. If no discussion, shall be done. And I encourage staff to ensure that we have those journals so that delegates can have chance to review them and make a discussion of them and dispose of them. Okay, all those in favor for the deferment of the said journals of those days, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried. Therefore, the adoption of those journals been deferred. Item 5, communications.
Mr. President, for item 5, communications, we have a delegation communication, and that is number 4-4. This is the communication that was read on record in yesterday's session under item 5, communications.
Thank you, Chief Clerk. That communication pertains to designation of Delegate Kando by our chairperson of Chuk Delegation, Chairperson Mori, designated Delegate Kando to be proxy for Madam Chair Mori while she's in absence. I mean, she will be away. She's not going to join our session, however long she's not going to be here. So that is for the information of delegates. Okay, any other matters on item 5? If none, we'll move on to item 6, unfinished business.
None at the moment, Mr. President.
Thank you. Item 7, reports of committees.
None also, Mr. President.
Thank you. Item 8, first reading of committee proposals.
None, Mr. President.
Thank you. Item 9, second reading of committee proposals. Chief Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. As indicated in the order, we have the committee proposal number 4-03 for second reading from your Committee on Government Structure and Functions, kindly note that this was deferred from yesterday's session to next week.
Thank you. The, Mr. Acting Floor Leader,
Short recess, Mr. President.
services called for. We're on second reading, item 9, to discuss that particular matter. So to be cleared, Chairman Albert, sorry, Nabayan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I yield to Delegate Louie.
Thank you very much,
Delegate
Chairman.
Louie.
And thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Mr. President. As a member of the government structure and functions, and on behalf of our esteemed chairman, I would like to make a motion to place the committee proposal 4-03 for second reading.
Second. So you're proposing to make, so therefore, are you making a motion now? Have you
I already made the motion and I move.
So any second? So motion made by Vice Chairman Louie to place that particular committee proposal 04-03 on today's calendar. Yes, seconded. Discussion, Delegate,
Can I have the floor?
go ahead.
Yes. We can play smart based on the rules, but we need to respect each other. That was my concern. Who decided to put this proposal back on the agenda today? When we know that motions were approved by majority to delay discussion of this to indefinitely or to next week. We have to be careful that nobody, one delegate or a staff is controlling our discussions or our agenda. Now we are
Short recess, Mr. President.
I call for a short recess. There was a motion it was seconded, to place committee proposal 04-03 on today's calendar. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Therefore, the motion carried. This particular proposal, committee proposal number 04-03, is now up for discussion. Mr. Acting Floor Leader.
Okay, good. Short recess, Mr. President.
So this is called for.
So now it's on. So we go to,
You have to make a motion for passage on second reading. Then we discuss, and then we,
we go to make that motion. Sorry, no, no, no. Second reading first and that one. It is second reading, it's already out of second reading. Now, no more cows. Now, that was already done. Okay, so no.
so floor makes a motion for second reading, and then opens up discussion, and then we vote. We're done with cow on this particular measure.
All right, let's go. I now call our session back to order. Mr. Acting Floor Leader, Chairman Nasser.
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion that committee proposal number 4-03 for second reading voting.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that committee proposal number 04-03 we consider on second reading for voting for passage. Any discussion? So we just call for. we will consider voting on committee proposal 04-03, which is pending. So therefore, I now call Chief Clerk to call the votes.
Mr. President, I think the next action we should do is discuss the motion for passage. And if there's no discussion, then we vote.
Yes, sorry, yeah. We're going to discuss it, but I thought there was no discussion. But yes, before we vote, does anyone have any points to make before we cast the vote on second reading on this particular proposal? Now it's open for discussion. Chairman Fritz, we're in session.
I have
Come back.
nothing to discuss. I just pointed out the proper procedure to address the issue, because we recess, we didn't have this discussion, and then we're just going back and we do roll call.
Yeah, Mr. President,
Go ahead, Chairman Nabayan.
I understand the point that Chairman Fritz is raising, but I think we've had exhaustive discussion on this measure in calm and also during recess, so I move for the previous question.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we stop debate on this particular matter. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Therefore, we're now ready to vote on second reading on this particular proposal. Chief Clerk,
For the State of Chuuk, Delegate Canto.
yes.
For the State of Koshai, Chairman Palsis.
Yes.
For the State of Pohnpei, Chairman or Vice President Isonan Canariarte.
Yes.
For the State of Yap, Chairman Abdayan.
Yes.
Mr. President, all four states voted for the said proposal under second reading.
Thank you very much and congratulations. We just passed this particular committee proposal 04-03 on second reading. Thank you. So moving on, are there any other matters under second reading for today's discussion business?
No,
Chief
Mr.
Clerk.
President.
Thank you. Moving on, item 10, final reading of proposed constitutional amendments.
None also, Mr. President.
Thank you. Item 11, consideration of resolutions.
None, Mr. President.
Thank you. Item 12, introduction and referral of delegated proposals.
Mr. President, we do not have a referral sheet.
If, meanwhile, if anyone has other matters to submit, this is an opportunity. Item 13, special orders.
None at the moment, Mr. President.
Thank you. Then miscellaneous business, item 14. Does anyone has any matters that to discuss under miscellaneous business?
Mr.
Chairman Albert?
Thank you, Mr. President. Due to the untimely passing of the late Honorable Delegate Camilo Noquet, who was tasked to be the Vice Chairman on your Committee on Civil Liberties and Tradition, I wish to take this opportunity to express my deepest sympathy and condolences to the families of the late Chief Justice. Your committee held a public hearing this morning and we elected Delegate Kain Canto to be the next Vice Chairman. With that said, I respectfully request that at the full plenary, recognize Mr. Canto and give him a big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Albert, and again congratulating our friend Chairman now, Vice Chairman Kando, as Vice Chairman of our committee on traditional custom, on civil liberties and traditions. Thank you. Any other matters under miscellaneous business? Yes, Chairman Fritz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just want to inform the members of your Committee on Finance and Revenue, and for that matter, all of us, we have a proposed committee proposals that I've asked our council to work on, and if and when she's done with it, I'm requesting her to please share with the members first, so we can take a look at it. What at least in that proposal is, we try to put together the question of sharing of revenues under the, I think, appropriate part of our constitution, which is Section 5, which deals with revenue sharing, 50% the states and then 50% the national government. So we will put maybe B, C, and D. B will be, subsection B should relate with the revenue sharing of the fishing fees. And then C, we're at least proposing that we deal with the other parts of the YAP delegation's proposal, which we just adopted. And that is the 50% that still belong to the national government. And then another subsection relates with the concern that my good friend on my left here raised, and which are reflected also in some of the proposals which you introduced. That is the question of accountability. So at least we're proposing that the funds for the fishing fees only, that they can only be expended pursuant to some approved plan of the national, states, or municipal government, so that the funds are accounted for. And it will also force our leaderships to actually think through on how to expend the money for the betterment of our country and people. That's our current proposal, which needs to be fleshed out and then shared with everybody. So I'm just raising that, and if it's acceptable to the members and hopefully to the plenary, and I think as far as the committee is concerned, at least I think it's enough for our parts, and that will be our contribution. We're trying to address the main problem that I think all our states are facing, and in truth, particularly our municipal government. So that's my kind of like general notice for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. President,
Yes, Chairman Albert.
I respectfully, I know the issue raised by Mr. Fritz is something that I want us to be very cautious about, not to go too specifically into the activities that we may want to address respecting the local governments and the states. I think this particular issue should be left generally open to the states, not to delve into municipalities and try to find ways to get this money to them. Because in each state, under public constitution, all revenue coming into the state, 30% automatically goes to the states. So I hope when you do this public hearing, you take into the consideration what are states or other laws that may be affected by any decision that you make. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Albert.
I may perhaps just to clarify, Chairman, the proposed proposal, the way we draft the language, we want to make sure that we don't intrude into the decision of the other states. We understand, in our last meeting in the Finance Committee, and just wanted to go to. I'll yield the floor.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz. Yes, Vice President Iso. Ariarte, you're Ariarte.
I didn't say, I'm not saying anything, I'm just listening. You want to say something?
You have the floor, Iso, if you want to say something on this particular matter. We're on business, and yes. Go ahead, Iso.
No.
Okay, but this is
So that I could, so we are conscious of the decisions of the other delegations, and we will not touch your decisions. We respect that, because that is what you're entrusted by your Constitutional Supreme. But at least for Chuk State here, just Chuk State here, our mission from our people and government is to make sure that our municipal government have a share. And it should be in there because for now, they're not getting what they're supposed to get. And we're going to ask our council to, in writing up the report, to also refer to those particular constitution and the laws in each of the 4 states. We know that Punbe, you even authorize your local government to have surtax, yeah? And I think Kusai also have some revenue sharings. But in Chuk, we only authorize our constitution, not less than 8% of the revenues to be provided to our municipal government, which is about 40 of them. And our legislature has never even given them that 8%. So they're really having difficulties trying to discharge their duties and responsibilities to our people. So that is why they ask us, when you go and if you're going to allocate revenues among the states, make sure that at least for our state, we have some guarantee that we will get a portion of it. That's all. With respect to Yapen, Punbe, and Kosai, no. If you don't want to say, it's fine. That's your prerogative. And the language in the proposal reflect that. So maybe it's better we wait for it, so you see.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, Delegate Cantero.
Yeah, so I think our discussion of this particular issue, it's important, but it may be a bit premature. We don't have the proposal in draft yet to be shared for us to have some definitive or substantive discussion over the languages. What I know for sure is that the last action on this particular issue from the former, before we left 2 years ago, was a particular proposal that was submitted by Punjab State. That appeared at that time to be a consolidated version of what we wanted to take forward. So we had some general discussion over this with the Finance Committee, and I think the discussion went well. But absent a committee hearing specifically designed to talk about this thing, we're just going left and right, and this, I can only encourage that the sooner we get the committee hearing in place, the sooner we get something in black and white so we can review, the better we will have some discussion over this one. This is an issue that I think all of us wants. We need to do this for our country and our people, but it's also very sensitive. And I hope that when we discuss this thing, we look at what's really an architecture that's really, really good for the country. At the end of the day, as I mentioned a couple of occasions, we will be part of the advocacy group at the end of the day compared to previous con. This time we will be part of it. Whatever that we output out of this convention, in my view, the languages, everything, the understanding, the spirit of it must be fully understood by all of us. So when we go outside, we advocate the same kind of spirit. If not, this thing will not work, in my view. So the sooner we get a language that all of us are comfortable with, that we can work with, the better for us. But ultimately, we need to be comfortable in any language that we put forward on this one, all of us. So, thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Cantero. Again, these kind of discussions should be dealt with in the committee, so I encourage Chairman Fritz and members of the committee to go ahead and schedule. We need to discuss this at length. Yes, Delegate Susan.
What subject are we on?
We are on miscellaneous.
Recess, I know, but what subject are we discussing?
Without discussing the
English?
business and revenue on the proposed,
I just wanted
Mr. President,
on on revenue share. Was proposal.
We're not, if I may, we're not really discussing it. I was just trying to inform ahead of delegates ahead of time that there is something brewing in the committee that is coming out, and when we look at the language, that's when we actually deal with it. I was trying to also delineate the type of ideas that are filtered into that one proposal. But we're not discussing anything yet. The committee has not decided on anything for that matter.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz. Again, I committed to proceed on a scheduled public hearing so we can discuss at length. These are pertinent issues that should be dealt with in the committee. Therefore, get out the views from delegates, including the public. Thank you. Okay, Delegate Susaya, sorry, do you have any other issues on miscellaneous? We're on miscellaneous.
Are we
Okay.
in the news?
Sorry?
No, Chair. I just wanted to restate what I said earlier about the items, calendar. I hope that you are taking control, the officers are taking control of the items put on the calendar for stay. I find it very hard to understand that because somebody had a question on the motion we made, then the whole proposal was reinstated on today's agenda. I don't think that's a fair way to address our business. That is, to me, in opposed to our majority decisions that were made yesterday on. There are two motions that were both adopted. That is different than what appeared on our calendar today. But that's, so it's water under the, or is it bridge under the water or water under the bridge? I just wanted to make sure that we don't go through that anymore.
Again, there is nothing under the rule that prevents such decision that we have just made on that particular proposal, so we can move on. Thank you. Okay.
But just one more thing
Yes.
before.
Delegate Tandero.
You know, I think the concerns expressed by Ambassador is quite valid. I know it's water under the bridge, but that kind of misunderstanding has immense impact, and that's exactly what transpired today. A misunderstanding of that led to the placement of this proposal on today's calendar. It's already done, which is good, but I would like to maybe just associate myself with the sentiments of Ambassador Susaya that this needs to be very clear, so we don't have these kind of mistakes anymore. This is critical for each and every one of us. So I implore the staff, also all of us, to really be very clear as we move forward. Decisions that we made is very impactful on our process. So let's please try to do that. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much, Delegate Tandero.
Mr. President,
Yes, Delegate James Knight. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank Delegate Fritz for the heads up that he gave during this miscellaneous business regarding the discussion that are underway in his committee on the particular subject that will be raised in the plenary. But I would like to amplify on the points made by my colleague, Delegate Cantero, about us playing the roles of advocates on these amendments that we're introducing in the convention. Mr. President, I had the privilege of serving in the last two constitutional conventions, and I would like to share the observation that the last 2 weeks are usually the crunch time to turn out the amendments in the committees. Why I am saying this, because I think the public deserve to know what's going on. I realize that we have this video conferencing, this live stream, but I'm sad to say that the other islands, not just the other islands, but even places like the rural and remote areas of Namoreas, of Talagat Kandos Faju, do not have access to to our sessions here. So I am wondering whether we expand the public information of this convention beyond what we have here for the Zoom. Mr. President, we don't want to give the people the feeling that they are being ambushed last minute when the educators go out into the communities to conduct the public education program. I think this convention owes it to the people of this country to keep them informed of what this convention is doing. If the officers of the convention have set up some kind of arrangement to take advantage of the public information outlets at the national government and in the states, then obviously I'm wrong. So I will leave it to you, my fellow delegates, to please consider sending out some public releases, public information to the public from our convention. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Delegate Nice. The points that you have raised are valid in terms of informing our citizens throughout the updates on our actions during this convention, and I take that to heart, and I will continue to work with our officers as well as our staff in ensuring that is done. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Chairman Albert?
can I ask a question? Maybe
Right.
this would be this will require Kathy to assist. With respect to proxies, for those delegates that are not on island and are not able to participate in some of our committee hearings, can someone here be designated on their behalf to join those committees and vote?
Sorry?
Recess, Mr. President?
Yeah. Call for a short recess.
Yeah, maybe
on miscellaneous business. We're coming toward the end of our session today. Does anyone have any other miscellaneous business to share before we move on? Okay, silence means no other miscellaneous business. Announcements by the various committee chairperson, Chairman Nabayan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Committee on Government Structure and Functions will be having a committee meeting on Monday at our allocated time. The notice will be coming out sometime later today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Nabayan. Chairperson Sikra.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Committee on General Provisions will be meeting today right after plenary. We ask that the members please stay behind. And briefly, I want to thank Kathy and the staff for all their hard work. I was once a staff attorney for FSM Congress, and I know we worked through the nights to put up this agenda for the next day. It's not easy. Some of us would work until 11, 2 o'clock in the morning, trying to do the best work possible. So thank you very much, and I also understand the need to make sure that the right agenda items be placed. So I join my colleagues in encouraging. Again, for the Committee on General Provisions, let's stay behind afterward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Sikra. Chairman Fritz.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The Committee on Finance and Development, I believe we have hearing Monday. I respectfully request you to sign our subpoenas so they can be served and the appropriate witnesses come to our meeting. And I also request our staff to make sure that those meetings are, we find venues for them. I assume it'll be here in the time that is allowed to your committee.
Thank you very much, Chairman Fritz. Those subpoenas are just ready to sign, but I kind of question whether they'll be ready to provide the information as needed between now and Monday, I guess, before the committee meeting. We'll try. Yes, Vice Chairman.
Mr. President, might I ask, the subpoenas, if they get issued today, we can't control when the police are actually going to serve them. So I wonder if Chairman Fritz, we could talk for a few minutes after the plenary about that date.
Okay, so we're going to discuss that after the plenary. We're in recess now, so Committee. And Chairman Albert, apparently, do you have any announcement of the committee? Committee is okay.
Mr. President,
Chairman Fritz,
we discussed during the recess, there is apparently good reasons why we need to postpone our scheduled meeting on Monday so that the police will serve upon the appropriate officers. So, with that understanding, I request you to cause our staff to make sure that those scheduled meetings are slided down to Wednesday with the same needed witnesses, and that you sign the paperwork so that they can be served, and we'll deal with them as it comes on Wednesday also. Thank you.
thank you, Chairman Fritz. That is going to be done to ensure that they be prepared for the information as required. Okay, Chairman Simon, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually signed a notice of hearing for Tuesday at 1 o'clock for your Committee on Style and Arrangement, but I just amended that right now to add on what we passed today to Tuesday again at 1 p.m. or right after the plenary. If it ends at 12, I hope we can start right after that. I'll be sending, I was about to click send, but then I waited because of the posture of the second reading today. So I'll be sending one this afternoon by email, but thank you very much. 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Simon. So 1 o'clock, your committee will meet on Tuesday. Yeah,
Correct.
Tuesday.
Correct, Chairman, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements before we recess?
Mr. President,
Yes.
it's not an announcement, but more of like a request
Chairman,
to our
Chairman Fritz.
council to please prepare and complete that draft and then circulate it to the members of the committee. So depending on if we review it and it's close to what we wanted, we may call a hearing on in the committee meeting on Monday among ourselves to deal with that language. So that proposed proposal.
Thank you, Chairman Fritz. Any other announcements? If none, acting floor leader Asher.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the convention stands in recess until 10 a.m. Monday morning, June 6, 2022.
It's been moved and seconded that we stand in recess until Monday at 10 o'clock, same place. All those in favor of the motion say aye. All those say nay. We now stand in recess until Monday at 10 o'clock. Thank you.